Long-term water conservation measures amid declining rainfall. TNT seeks stronger trade links with Martinique, Guadeloupe and French Guiana. China restricts fertilizer exports as U.S.-Israel war on Iran deepens global supply crisis. And in sports, Oval's maiden T20 International century leads Australia to 3-0 whitewash of West Indies women at Annersvale playing field. These and other stories coming up in SVGTV News and Sports this evening at 7. Good evening and welcome to SVG-TV News and Sports for Tuesday, March 24th, 2026. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. Public Relations and Marketing Manager of the Central Water and Sewage Authority, the CWSA, Joan Ryan, is urging Vincentians to adopt long-term solutions to address reduced rainfall linked to climate change. Speaking during a discussion on NBC Radio this morning, Ryan noted that shifting weather patterns have resulted in decreased rainfall, placing increased pressure on the country's water resources. She emphasized the need for citizens to adapt to these changes by becoming more responsible in their water usage. Ryan pointed to water shortage as a practical and sustainable long-term solution, encouraging households and communities to invest in systems that can capture and store water during periods of rainfall.
Now we have to look beyond what we are doing and cater for the changing climate that is coming, and that means individuals have got to be more responsible in terms of what you do at home. And I know we sometimes talk about storage, and some folks might say, well, you're always talking about storage, because it's so important, not only from a CWSA standpoint, but from the standpoint of the public as well. How when we build our homes, do we have built-in storage so that we can face whatever issue may arise? Nobody's responsible for a hurricane coming or a storm, but when that happens, there's a possibility that our water can be supply can be interrupted. And should that happen, how do you manage at home before the storage is restored?
Ryan stressed that conservation efforts must become a priority as climate change continues to impact water availability across the nation. She also highlighted the importance of incorporating water-conscious systems into the construction of homes. She suggested that features such as rainwater harvesting systems and proper storage infrastructure should become standard in building practices.
I don't think the future. I think things like that should be a built-in part of our building construction process. So whether you want to have something on the ground or you want to have your tanks and so on, that decision has to be made, because there are patterns to look at. Right. Communities would understand this more than anybody else. If you live in an area, you know what happens during the year, during different times of the year. And when you observe that, it is your responsibility to put now the systems in place so that you can cater for whatever dry spell may come.
Right. And with that, it goes hand in hand with.
According to Ryan, proactive planning and responsible usage will be key to ensuring a reliable water supply for future generations in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And President of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union, Oswald Robinson, says he remains adamant that he will continue to defend the rights of teachers regardless of which political party is in power. Following the union's first meeting with the Minister of Education, Robinson told SVG-TV News that the executive was pleased to have started dialogue. However, he noted that certain teachers' benefits and vacation entitlements still require clarity. Speaking on the union's radio program over the weekend, Robinson suggested that members could take to the streets in protest if their concerns are not addressed.
Reach to that stage, but sometimes you have to say these things to get the authorities to see how serious some of the things that are to be done and some of the things that are hanging. You have to make this is part of advocacy. Protest is a trade union right. You're not going to create any violence. I never said we're going to bring down the government, and I saw people making those comments. I said we will get rid of the Minister of Education if we continue down a kind of road. Because it is not easy when you enjoyed a benefit, you accumulate this benefit for decades, and all of a sudden somebody's coming with a radical move without sitting down and having proper dialogue.
Robinson, who is the outgoing SVGTU president, noted that he is aware the current administration inherited policies from the previous government, but said it is now in a position to correct outstanding issues as promised. He added that he has been advocating on behalf of teachers under the previous administration and will continue to do so under the current government.
Once any authority does something that is not in the interests of education and our teachers, we speak out about it. It has nothing to do with which government. We held a protest in 2015, a one-day protest against the former government. We also had protests with the vaccine mandate. We spoke out. We spoke out about conditions of schools. The TV came and interviewed me when Thomas Under schools had problem with dogs and fleas. We spoke about the GP use of school. When the ministry closed it, they said they didn't know. Teachers were upset. So why did they close it? So the union has always been engaged in some kind of social action.
The outgoing SVGTU president said there are several other matters that need to be addressed by the government, which were only briefly discussed during the 2-hour meeting with the new education minister held on Friday, March 13th. He noted that one issue the union has formally raised is the case of Adriana King, who was placed on half pay.
It's sad that it came over that way on both sides, but I mean, you know, when you're in the trade union movement, if you don't speak for your members, they may feel that you are in a hand and glove situation, you know, and I try to be objective. The government do good, I say do good. If you do bad, I say do bad. At the end of the day, we still have to work together. And sometimes people in the public don't understand that. They think you as an individual looking for something personal. And by now, everybody should know that I am not looking for anything. You understand? I just want to see justice. The Adriana King is another issue. If we have to protest, that is one of the things we have to protest for. But we're giving the opportunity for the relevant authorities, because we wrote a letter to the cabinet to ask them to state their position on that.
According to Robinson, social dialogue between the SVGTU and the Ministry of Education is critical to ensuring that teachers' rights are protected. The new High Commissioner of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to the United Kingdom, His Excellency Brayton Horn, on March 5, 2026, presented his credentials to Scott Forgenston Wood, Director of Protocol and Vice Marshal of the Diplomatic Corps at Lancaster House. His Excellency Horn was announced as High Commissioner Designate on January 22, 2026, alongside other newly appointed heads of mission and consulate. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade, Foreign Investment and Diaspora Affairs congratulates His Excellency Hon on this milestone and said it looks forward to his leadership in advancing the foreign policy priorities and international engagement of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. As the Ministry of Culture wraps up its remembrance activities in honor of nation builders who have passed on, a ceremony was held last Friday afternoon in honor of Ebenezer Theodore Joshua, this country's first chief minister. The activity took place at the Kingston Cemetery, where wreaths were laid at the burial site of the man widely regarded as a champion of the underprivileged. Grandson of the late E.T. Joshua, Stanley Theodore Johnson Jr., said he has heard many great stories about his grandfather's political and personal life. He noted that one of the most outstanding aspects of his legacy was his commitment to improving the lives of the marginalized.
My grandfather grew up by modest means, but with high ideals and fundamental human values, especially those relating to protecting the rights and welfare of others. He was also known as a social activist, whose goals and focus were to upgrade the socio-economic conditions in our country to bring betterment for those who are often underprivileged or poor.
Representing the trade unions, Noel Jackson recalled the stalwart nation builder, describing him as a man who was respected and loved. He said E.T. Joshua lived a life focused on people rather than personal wealth.
Ebenezer Theodore Joshua loved poor people. He lived his life for poor people to the last. He didn't sell out. He stood firm for what he believed in. He died a poor man, a very poor man. And I want to ask you all this question. Is there any man today who would find himself in a position of authority where he have at his fingertips the opportunity to make money, the opportunity to get all the lands he wants, the opportunity to get the biggest house, and was not tempted by those things and died a pauper? I don't think there's any.
Research officer with the Department of Culture, Radhika Stevens, said the department plans to continue hosting remembrance activities not only in March but throughout the year. The local news will continue in a moment. Stay with us.
Welcome to SeaStar.
Welcome to the upgraded SeaStar Limited,
Where we offer to almost all your household items.
They've expanded their range to sofas, dining and patio sets, beds and mattresses, wardrobes, kitchen cabinets, office furniture. That's just a few from their luxurious collection. Not forgetting their signature quality windows, doors, rails, and bathroom enclosures. Journey on up to SeaStar, where their friendly sales clerk is happy to assist. SeaStar Limited, where quality meets style.
A funeral service should be one that you can be proud of, one that leaves lasting memories of your loved ones. And that's where you need the New Haven Funeral Home. We are proud of the quality and class we have brought to the industry. We are proud for having trained the very first certified embalmers in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We are proud of leading the way in terms of live streaming of funerals online so that your family members overseas could also be part of the celebration of life. We are constantly improving our services. We are driven by customer satisfaction, and we are proud of all that we do.
New Haven Funeral Home. Introducing 2 new Instacash games. Yes, 2 more chances to win more money instantly from the National Lotteries Authority. Get the new $2 game, Win It All, where you can win up to $2,500. And there's Stacko Cash for $3 with a top prize of $5,000. Win It All and Stacko Cash, new Instacash games loaded with lots of prizes. Available at all Lotto agents. Instacash, so easy to play, and you can win instantly.
Welcome back. The Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force is investigating the death of Muntai, a popular personality on the streets. Muntai reportedly sustained multiple chop wounds about his body during an incident in Barley yesterday afternoon. He was transported to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. The circumstances surrounding the incident remain unclear. However, SVG-TV News understands that the person is currently in custody, assisting police with their investigation. The killing brings the homicide count in the country to 8 so far for the year. It comes on the heels of the shooting death of shopkeeper Winston Zeke Williams in Diamond on Friday night. And British visitor Warren Lee Davies will have to wait a little longer to learn his fate after pleading guilty to cocaine-related charges last Friday at the Kingston Magistrates Court. Davies was detained at the Argyle International Airport last Wednesday after cocaine was discovered in his suitcase as he attempted to board a flight to the United Kingdom. He was subsequently charged with possession of 2.5 kilograms of cocaine with intent to supply and attempting to export 2.5 kilograms of cocaine. Davies appeared before the Kingston Magistrate Court last Friday, where he pleaded guilty to both charges. The matter was then transferred to the Serious Offences Court, and he was remanded into custody pending sentencing, which has been scheduled for yesterday, Monday. However, when the case was called, Prosecutor Inspector Renrick Cato applied for an adjournment until Thursday, stating that the prosecution is seeking additional information to assist with sentencing. Defense counsel Grant Connell, who represents Davies, noted that the prosecution did not provide specific details about the information being sought, but indicated his willingness to assist if necessary. Chief Magistrate Colin John granted the prosecution's request, and the matter was adjourned to this Thursday. And 31-year-old Chingli Dick of Mesopotamia was on Monday fined $890 to be paid forthwith when he appeared before the Serious Offences Court on charges of cannabis possession and trafficking. Dick pleaded guilty to charges that on March 20, 2026, at the main port in Kingston, he had in his possession 2,119 grams or 4.7 pounds of cannabis with intent to supply to another, and possessing 2,119 grams or 4.7 pounds of cannabis for the purpose of drug trafficking. The court heard that last Friday, police on duty at the port were carrying out random checks on motor vehicles transporting cargo bound for the Grenadines. A white Nissan car with registration number PE378, driven by Dick, was stopped by police. A search was requested, and Dick, who was the lone occupant, consented. Police then took Dick to the back of the motor vehicle and instructed him to open the trunk. A green and white Courier's shopping bag was seen, and when searched, police found 3 transparent plastic bags with brown tape. Police opened the taped bags to find 6 bags containing cannabis. The cannabis amounted to 2,119 grams or 4.7 pounds. Dick, a vendor, told the court he was attempting to sell the marijuana so he could buy a gift for his 4-year-old daughter, who celebrates her birthday on Tuesday. That's today. Shortly after Chief Magistrate Colin John imposed the fine, Dick paid the $890 as ordered. And that brings us to the end of our local news. We heard that Trinidad and Tobago seeks a stronger trade links with Martinique, Guadeloupe, and French Guiana. This from the region. When we return, stay with us.
The Ever-Ready Funeral Home at French's is your friend in times of grief. With over 40 years' experience, they are prepared to take care of all your funeral arrangements. Embalming, lowering device service, grave mattresses, carpeting, vaults, tombs and wreaths. Arrangements for television obituaries. Cremation is available upon request. Ever-Ready Funeral Home offers the finest in caskets and coffins, local and imported. So, in your time of need, call Ever-Ready Funeral Home at any time. 456-1494. Ever-Ready Funeral Home, offering service above self.
Listen, the big hardware stores have been ripping off Vincentians for years with their high prices. Then came General Hardware with the lowest prices ever in SVG. Now, the big guys are scrambling to drop their prices, but they still can't beat the General. So don't let them fool you. General Hardware still has the best prices on lumber, plywood, and steel. And even with a sale, the General beats that too. So go on, compare prices, then come to General Hardware and save dollars every day. Because nobody beats the General. Nobody. General Hardware Supplies, located next to Yvette's Pork City in Arnesville. Call 453-9000.
Courts is giving you the chance to experience the Caribbean's premier music and arts event, the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival. Every Courts purchase of $2,999 or more from now to April 23rd gives you a chance to win an all-expenses-paid trip for two. To enjoy the music, the flair, and to create unforgettable memories for you and your guests. Don't miss this opportunity. Shop today, only at Courts, bringing value home. Conditions apply.
Welcome back. In our news from the region now, we hear that the government of Trinidad and Tobago is reaffirming that the country is open for business. This as Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association, the TTMA, hosted an in-world trade mission with delegates from Martinique, Guadeloupe, and French Guiana on Monday. The Doing Business in Trinidad and Tobago seminar is aimed at strengthening economic and cultural ties between the country and the French Caribbean. We hear more in this report.
The Doing Business in TNT seminar, hosted by the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association, TTMA, on Monday, aims at strengthening economic and cultural ties between Trinidad and Tobago and the French Caribbean. Acting Director of Trade Facilitation at the Ministry of Trade, Investment and Tourism, Neville Alexander, stressed that building strong and reliable trade relationships with reliable partners is key to our development and diversification efforts going forward.
We also want to encourage deeper collaboration and services, particularly tourism services. Travel between Trinidad and the islands, such as Martinique, for instance, has been growing. It is our desire to further deepen our engagement in these areas as we seek to develop niches such as yachting, medical, sport, business, and ecotourism areas as potential drivers for the services sector ourselves.
President of TTMA Dale Parson emphasized the importance of creating opportunities for entrepreneurs and strengthening support for small and medium enterprises.
To empower SMEs, let us focus on the backbone of our economies, small and medium enterprises, by facilitating partnerships and reducing barriers for entrepreneurs. We can create meaningful economic participation.
Chief Executive Officer of the National Carnival Committee, Kiba Motley, noted that TNT's Carnival is not just a festival, but a multi-billion-dollar cultural industry with strong global demand and major potential for year-round economic expansion through investment, technology, and strategic partnerships. She said the authenticity of TNT's Carnival places it at a great competitive advantage.
We are known as the best carnival in the world and the best carnival experience. So there are other types of carnivals. So for instance, in Rio, their carnival is more of a show and a performance, whereas anybody can participate in Trinidad and Tobago Carnival, and really in Trinidad that's what makes it unique. Because you could come in and there are no if I were to use a trade phrase, there are no barriers to entry for Trinidad and Tobago Carnival. Anybody can join and participate.
The seminar will run from March 23rd to March 27th. Danielle John, TTT News.
That's all news from the region. The international news is coming up next. Stay with us.
Singer is a family store. We sell everything you need for your kitchen and more. Top brands and appliances. TVs, fridges, cookers. We make your life so easy. Just come in and see us. A wide range of furniture. Right here at Singer. Affordable beds and mattresses. Right here at Singer. Washing machines to make your laundry clean and fresh. Singer is a family store that gives you the best. The best hire purchase deals. Right here at Singer. We'll outfit your home. Right here at Singer. The #1 family store. It's us with Singer.
Introducing 2 new Instacash games. Yes, 2 more chances to win more money instantly from the National Lotteries Authority. Get the new $2 game, Win It All, where you can win up to $2,500. And there's Stack or Cash for $3 with a top prize of $5,000. Win It All and Stack or Cash, new Instacash games loaded with lots of prizes. Available at all Lotto agents. Instacash, so easy to play, and you can win instantly.
Quality products, quality care, low prices, great customer service, all at QCare Pharmacy. QCare leads the way, providing all your pharmaceutical needs, a variety of personal care products, and so much more. Located on Halifax Street. Telephone number 451-2690. QCare Pharmacy, where the Q stands for quality.
Welcome back on the international scene. Now we hear that a global fertilizer squeeze is deepening as the war in Iran disrupts supply. But China's response may have the biggest impact on the world's food system. Beijing has restricted exports of fertilizers, prioritizing domestic supply to shield its own farmers from rising global prices. We hear more in this report.
Here in northern China, farmers are entering one of the most critical periods of the year, the spring planting season. This is when fertilizer is in highest demand, helping crops like wheat and corn take root after the winter months. But globally, supply is tightening. A third of the world's fertilizer trade passes through the Strait of Hormuz, and disruptions caused by the Iran war are causing prices to soar, with some fertilizers up by around 40%. That's putting pressure on farmers worldwide. China is one of the world's largest fertilizer producers, accounting for around a third of global output of key nutrients like phosphates. But instead of exporting more to meet global demand, it's doing the opposite. Beijing is restricting fertilizer exports and keeping more supply at home in order to shield its own agricultural sector. That's tightening supply and raising prices for countries that rely on Chinese fertilizer, including India and Brazil, and many Southeast Asian nations. Ultimately, this shortage isn't just about fertilizer. It's about ensuring farmers can grow their crops and people have enough food to eat. Katrina Yu, Al Jazeera, Beijing.
That's the news. Sports is just ahead with Trishka Campbell. But before that, let's take a look at the local weather forecast.
The weather report sponsored by General Hardware.
Listen, the big hardware stores have been ripping off Vincentians for years with their high prices. They came General Hardware with the lowest prices ever in SVG. Now, the big guys are scrambling to drop their prices, but they still can't beat the General. Hardware still has the best prices on lumber, plywood, and steel. And even with a sale, the General beats that too. So go on, compare prices, then come to General Hardware and save dollars every day. Because nobody beats the General. Nobody. General Hardware Supplies, located next to Yvette's Pork City in Arnesville. Call 453-9000.
Humidity is 76%. The barometric pressure is 12.4 millibars, 24-hour rainfall 19.1 millimeters. Today's maximum temperature is 28.5 degrees Celsius. Today's minimum temperature is 22.0 degrees Celsius. Sunset at 6:05 p.m., sunrise at 6:15 a.m. The forecast is fair to partly cloudy with a few showers. Synopsis: the Atlantic high pressure system is a dominant feature.
We have confidential and professional counselors ready to listen and offer support for any personal challenge you might be facing, helping you find balance and get back to feeling your best. Call us today at 784.
The weather report was sponsored by General Hardware.
Life can be stressful. Work, family, finances, it all adds up. Feeling overwhelmed, struggling with relationships, need help managing stress? You don't have to go through it alone. The Employee Assistance Program, Public Service, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, EAP, is here for you. We have confidential and professional counselors ready to listen and offer support for any personal challenge you might be facing, helping you find balance and get back to feeling your best. Call us today at 784-570-6718 or email eap.mps@gov.vc for more information, because a healthier you is a happier you. At the Employee Assistance Program, Public Service, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, your well-being is our concern.
Good evening and welcome to the Evening Sports. I'm Triska Campbell. We heard that Georgia Vol plundered her maiden T20 international century of 52 balls as Australia secured a 3-0 series whitewash over the West Indies women with a dominant performance before rain arrived at the Arnesville Sports Complex on Monday night, March 23rd. Vol put together a masterful innings, which included 6 sixes as Australia piled up 211, the highest T20 international total since 2023 and the 5th best ever. The next highest score was Sophie Mollux's 25 of 12 balls as number 8, as Australia's captain played her first part with bat or ball in the series. Once again, West Indies struggled in the power play, losing 3 wickets, including a first in T20 internationals for left-arm quick Lucy Hamilton, and were miles behind the dearless targets when rain arrived shortly after drinks. The tour now shifts into the ODI mood with a 3-match series in St. Kitts and Nevis starting on Friday, March 27th. Here at home in netball, the 2026 BOSVG National Netball Competition opened on the weekend at the National Netball Center in New Montrose under the theme Honoring Netball's Proud Legacy. To jumpstart the tournament, 2 games were played, a Division 4 encounter as well as a Division 3 face-off. In Division 4, the Vitamalt Youth Development S&D Success Netters lost to Valley Bakers North Leeward Stars 7-36. Meantime, in Division 3, Exceed Sports Club 3 defeated Funds Size Success Netters 26-13. In the games played last evening, Monday, March 23rd, Bargain Auto Police Youth Club, who got the better of the Bishop's College Kingstone 21-3, and On Track Exceed Sports Club 2 beat Prime Consulting 3J's Valley Strikers 31-19. The competition was set to continue this afternoon at the National Netball Center in New Montrose, with 2 games on the cards, which bounced off at 5 p.m. System 3 thrashed Hope International FC 5-0 on match day 13 of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Football Federation's Vinci Soccer Premier League VSP League Round 1 at Independence Park, formerly Victoria Park, on Sunday night. In the earlier results, Le UFC played to a 1-1 draw with Camandonia Chelsea, and Awesome FC edged past Besco Pastures 3-2. In the Tier 2 competition, meantime, Quesco Titans hammered Shops FC 4-1 at Camden Park. Desco United also sealed a 4-1 win over Brownstone in an all-winner clash at the Chili Playing Field in Georgetown. And Richland Park Pride and Joy beats Green Hill FC 4-2 at the Sir Vincent's Beach Stadium at Diamond. And that's how we end sports this evening. I'm Triska Campbell. We'll be right back to wrap things up.
Listen, the big hardware stores have been ripping off Vincentians for years with their high prices. They came General Hardware with the lowest prices ever in SVG. Now, the big guys are scrambling to drop their prices, but they still can't beat the General. So don't let them fool you. General Hardware still has the best prices on lumber, plywood, and steel. And even with a sale, the General beats that too. So go on, compare prices. Then come to General Hardware and save dollars every day. Because nobody beats the General. Nobody. General Hardware Supplies, located next to Yvette's Pork City in Arnesville. Call 453-9000.
Welcome back. Thank you, Trishka, for bringing us the evening sports. Now for a second look at the headlines. CWSA urges long-term water conservation measures amid declining rainfall. Trinidad and Tobago seeks stronger trade ties with Martinique, Guadeloupe, and French Guiana. China restricts fertilizer export as U.S.-Israel war on Iran deepens global supply crisis. And in sports, volleys maiden T20 International century leads Australia to 3-0 whitewash of West Indies women at Arnesville playing field. Now for a recap of the local weather forecast. The local weather forecast, it is fair to partly cloudy with a few showers. On behalf of all of us here at SVG-TV, thanks for viewing. I am Rochelle Batiste, inviting you to visit our Facebook page for a recap of the news and daily headlines. Also check out SVG-TV News in 15 weekdays at 12:45 p.m. Again, thanks for viewing. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
The climate is changing, and you?
The mangrove forest is important because it protects